The next test that we're going to be looking at is the stereognosis test. Stereognosis means identifying an object by your sense of touch without use of vision. When you're doing this test, you want to keep that in mind because the client, again, is either going to have their vision occluded by a folder or they're going to close their eyes and they're going to identify a number of household items by the sense of touch. Let's assume that we've gone through all of the setup, we've introduced ourselves, and now I'm going to start the test by explaining it. Maddie, this next test we're going to do is a little bit different than the others. It's called stereognosis, and what that word means is basically that you can identify something by a sense of touch without using your eyes. So examples of this might be that you're reaching into your purse and it's next to your desk or the couch or something, and you want to find your keys or your phone, but you don't want to look down and see what's in your purse. So most people can easily dig into their purse and pull out what they need even though you can't see it. So this is very handy for being able to identify objects that you need in your daily life without the need to open up your container, look around visually. You help yourself with your hands. And given that you've had a stroke and your right arm is not working as well, we want to make sure that you can still identify what's going on with objects. Do you have any questions about that?
No.
All right. So I'm going to be putting various objects in your hand, and you can feel free to move them around and manipulate them, and then you're going to identify by naming it what it is. So it's common household objects like pencils and utensils and things like that. If you don't know what it is, you can describe it or just let me know, I don't know. Okay. Let's go ahead and we'll start off with this hand, and I'm going to have you close your eyes. And here's your first object. You go ahead and feel that and tell me what it is when you know.
A fork.
Great.
A key. Sunglasses.
Nice.
A keychain. For points.
Okay.
A spoon. A paperclip. A pen.
Great. So go ahead and open your eyes. We'll put this hand back in your lap, and I'm going to help you to put this hand on the table. Now, do you have any movement in your hand right now?
No.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you close your eyes again. I'm going to move the object around in your hand, and you tell me what it is once you know. And if you don't know, you can just say, I don't know.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead and close your eyes.
Feels like some kind of utensil, but
Okay.
maybe a fork.
Okay. Thank you.
This one's a lot bigger, but I can't really tell exactly what it is.
Okay.
Small and flat, but
Do you have any idea what you would use it for?
maybe a key.
Okay.
I'm gonna guess pen because it feels really small and skinny.
Great. Okay, go ahead and open your eyes. I'm going to actually not go through all of the objects again because you get the idea. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to give, we'll just put your arm back for right now. I'm going to give Maddie a set of objects, and then I have a matching set of objects. And if she's having a lot of trouble with movement or with identifying, I'm going to ask her to match what she feels. So it's going to look like this. So Maddie, I'm going to, again, put your hand on the table. And we wouldn't do both these tests. We would, if I found that she wasn't able to identify the objects, I would just go to this part of the test. This will help if a client has expressive aphasia because they may not be able to say what the object is, but they know what it is, and now we're using her sense of vision to give her more clues. So this test is a little bit different in that there's various ways to administer it. First way is she feels it, she identifies it, and you may have a client who both sides of their body, they can move, and so you don't need to manipulate it for them, right? So that's one of the things that could happen. Another thing that could happen is that she doesn't have movement. Now, she didn't identify the objects as well, but if she had an intact sense of sensation in her hand, she may be able to identify the objects even though she can't manipulate them. So that's a second scenario. A third scenario is that she can't identify them independently, but she would be able to point with her other hand. So let's take a little look and see what that looks like. All right, Maddie, go ahead and close your eyes again. And I'm going to put some objects in your hand and then have you open your eyes and identify them from the field that you see in front of you.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the first one. So I'll put the object back so you don't have too many clues, and go ahead and identify which one you think it is.
This one.
Okay. And close your eyes again. And open up your eyes. Let me know what you think it was. Great. And here's our next one. And open your eyes.
10.
Okay. We're not going to go through all of the objects again because you get the idea. Thank you so much. You go ahead and rest your arm. So there's a variety of ways to do this. It's going to rely on your clinical judgment as to which way you do it. You can mix and match if you find that she's not able to identify it, and you can also ask her to identify by a description, as she did with one of the utensils. She said, I think you would use it to eat. She might also have the capacity to say, I think you would use it to eat soup, right? So that's clearly a description of a spoon, and that would actually count as identifying the object. Some things to remember with this one. When you're placing the object, I'll move this out of the way so you can see a little better. When you're placing the object in the person's hand, and we'll do it with a large object, you want to place it in an area that they would ordinarily grab it. So sunglasses, you wouldn't put out here. So you want to place it so that they can easily manipulate it. Conversely, key, you probably wouldn't want to put in the palm because it's hard to get to. So here. And when the client, you're manipulating the object for them, you want to think, how would I hold this, right? So, and move it around so that they can identify it from the relevant details. So a fork is often identified because it has tines, etc. I think that that is the high points of this test. Again, you'll have opportunities to practice. And we want to, here's one last note. I'm doing this without a script, so bear with me as I make mistakes and they're captured forever. With the stereognosis, we cannot assume that everyone has the same concept of what common household items are. So me being from an American white background, I eat with these utensils, I wear sunglasses. This object in particular, the little coin purse with a keychain on it, may not be universal. So you want to be sure that if the person's not identifying the object, it's not because of their sensation. You want to be sure that they recognize what it is. And to that end, have a set of objects at your workplace so that you can vary it and be sure that, that you're providing the effective objects to each client.